single user operating system and multi-user operating system. So multi-user operating system is only specially designed for the, so you have website hosting something like so multi people can access at a time. So single user operating system, so they we can access only one people at a time, one user at a time. So what are the operating systems? So Microsoft created two types of operating systems. One is single user operating system. The other one is multi-user operating system. So multi-user operating systems are Windows Server, Windows, Linux, Unix. So these all are the multi-user operating system. So Windows, Microsoft. So Microsoft all products are commercial. All products are commercial. Commercial. Commercial means buy the license, buy the licenses before using it. So we need to buy the licenses before using it. All the Microsoft products are so commercial and Linux. So Linux is a open source. Linux is a open source and so Linux is a CLI CLI environment. So Linux is a CLI environment. What is CLI? CLI means command line interface. Command line interface is nothing but so in our Windows CMD. So CMD is the so this is a DOS prompt. This is a DOS. So this is also a CLI command line interface. This is only a command line interface. So command line interface, something like git bash. So this is like a Linux server. So you see, so everything will be a CLI command line. If you want to interact with the OS, if you want to interact with the OS, definitely we need to execute by commands only. We can run through commands only. So this is a CLI mode. What is GUI? So Windows. So single user and multi-user are so GLI operating system, graphical user interface. The OS is built with images, something like this is the image, minimize, maximize. These all are the images. You are seeing the images with the graphical user. But Linux is Linux OS is Linux operating system is a CLI environment, most popular on a CLI environment. command line command line interface, and it is highly secure and portable. It is a portable and portable and highly secure, highly highly secure, portable and highly secure. So CLI environment, Linux is a CLI environment. Windows is a GUI. GUI means graphical user interface. So what is a graphical user interface? Graphical user interface. The Linux should be a command line interface. The Linux should be a command line interface. So you see, this is the a virtual mission. This is a virtual mission, guys. I'm starting the Linux OS. You see, so this is the a command line interface. This is a command line interface. You see how we are logging? We are logging through commands only. Red hat. Okay. Yeah. So this is the Linux. This is the Linux OS. How we can interact with the OS through commands only. So this is only CLI, command line interface. The Linux OS is designed only CLI. CLI is a command line interface. Command line interface. So this is the difference between CL and GUI. So the next is commercial. What is the difference between commercial and open source? What is the difference between commercial and open source? Commercial means, so before we can use, need to buy it, buy the license, buy the license. Open source is nothing but, so open source is nothing but free of cost. Open source having 2 points. So one is nothing but a free of cost, and second point is source code available. Source code available. So source code available means, so for developing the Linux, for creating the Linux, we use something like a code for creating the Linux OS. They used a language something like C or C++. So that code will be also available. Open source is nothing but a, so whatever the code used for developing the Linux OS, so like that is nothing but a source code also available. Something like source code is available. Source code is available. If source code is available, so every company took that source code and created their own Linux OSs, their own Linux OSs. So their own Linux OSs. So something like initially, who developed Linux OS? Linus, Linus Torvald. Torvald developed the Linus in 1991. So in 1991, so he released as a open source. He released as a open source. So he released as a open source. Every company took that source code and created their own OSs, company name and Linux OS name. So Linux OS name. For example, for example, so first company. The company is something like a IBM. IBM took that source code and created their own OS called AIX Linux. What is that? AIX Linux OS. The same way, HP also took that source code and created their own Linux OS called UX Linux OS. UX Linux OS. Sun also, Sun also, Sun Microsystems. Sun means a Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems. So took that source code and created their own OS, Solaris. They created the Solaris Linux. The fourth one is something like Debian. Debian company took the source code and created their own OS called Ubuntu. Ubuntu Linux OS. Solaris Linux OS. The same way, the same way. So Oracle company also took that source code and created their own OS called Oracle Linux OS. The same way, Red Hat Inc. Red Hat INC took that source code, created three types of OSs. Three types of OSs. Fedora, Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat, Red Hat, Linux OS, Linux, CentOS, Linux OS. Fedora also created a Linux OS. So, so open source code also available. Took the source code. Every company took the source code and created their own OSs, their own OSs because of it's a open source. Because of it's a open source, something like a SUSE Linux, SUSE Linux, FreeBSD Linux. These all are the Linux OSs. So Linux OSs in a work course, the most popular. So nowadays, nowadays every company is using. So Red Hat INC provided. What are the provided? Fedora, CentOS, Red Hat. So most of the companies are using CentOS and Red Hat Linux OSs. So these are all are the CLI platform, command line interface. So command line interface. So which OS guys? Red Hat INC created three types of OSs, Fedora, CentOS and Red Hat OSs. So which OS is most popular guys? Guys, which OS is popular?
OS, Linux OS, Red Hat.
Yeah. So most of the company, every application. So nowadays, every application will be hosting on the Linux OS only. So the Linux OS most probably they are using the Red Hat. They are using the Red Hat or CentOS Linux OS. The version is something like a Windows 2012, 2008. So Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 8. Windows 7, Windows Vista. The versions are the same like as a so Linux also having the versions. Fedora starts from 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A new feature added. They released as a new version. 16, something like a 17, 19. So I think 21 is the latest version. So Fedora is only for the testing purpose. So which OSs are we are using? In the CentOS, CentOS 2 starts from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The latest version of the CentOS is 8. Guys, tell me what is the latest version of the CentOS? What is the latest version of the CentOS?
8,
8. The same way Red Hat
8,
also. Red Hat also. So the version 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what is the latest version of the Red Hat and CentOS? So 8. So Red Hat and CentOS are the version is 8. So this OS is whatever the commands execute in the Fedora, it will be same in the CentOS, it will be same on the Red Hat. So why is these three OSs created Red Hat INC? The Red Hat INC is created for the Fedora is for the testing environment, a CentOS is for freely available, and Red Hat INC is for a enterprise version. It is a enterprise version. Enterprise means we need to buy this version. So this is the enterprise version, this is the free, this is the testing version. So what is the version, latest version? CentOS and Red Hat. Red Hat is the latest version is 8 and Red Hat 7. So so in this course, we are learning 6, 7, 8 versions. What are the versions? 6, 7, 8. So what is these versions? Version is nothing but the same like as WhatsApp. WhatsApp created only for the chat and contacts. Chat and contacts. After this is the WhatsApp 1.0. WhatsApp 2.0. So they added a new feature called as a status. So on the 3.0 they added as a video calling. So 4.0 they added a voice calling. So 5.0 they added a group chatting. So these are the features, new feature adding and released as a new version. Adding a new version and released as a new version. Adding a new feature and released as a new version. The same way, the security wise and the future wise, they are adding a new features and released as a version. They are adding a new features and released as a version. Released as a version. So the similar way. So whatever the command we are executing in the CentOS, the same copy of the command. So Oracle is Oracle take the copy of the Red Hat and CentOS they created as a Oracle Linux. So whatever you are learning in the CentOS Red Hat, the same commands will be executing in the Oracle Linux also. So Ubuntu also same, but the some different commands are there. We need to execute those commands. These all are the command line CLI OSS. These all are the CLI OSS. So guys, which OS we are learning in this course? CentOS 7, Red Hat, Fedora. These three are we are using. Three are we are using. Guys, understood?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So where you are installing your OS. Guys, where you are installing your OS?
In our system for testing purpose.
Yes. So what is this, guys?
Server.
So,
Server. So what is the name of the server? Something like, for example, the physical server is Dell PowerEdge PowerEdge R710. So this is the physical server Dell PowerEdge R710. This is the physical server. Physical server. So where you are installing a OS. So this is a computer. This is a computer or a hardware. This is a computer or a hardware. So this is you. This is you. So why we need to install OS on the hardware? Guys, tell me why we need to install OS on the hardware. For example, so this is the CentOS or Red Hat OS. This is a CentOS or Red Hat OS. So this is the CentOS or Red Hat OS. So why we need to install the OS on the server, guys? Hardware knows which language?
It is a interface between the mission
Yes,
understood
yes, yes.
language
Yes.
and
So hardware knows only binary language, right? This is the hardware. Dell PowerEdge R7 is the hardware. So you are the people, something like user. User is something like a Anand. For example, Anand. Anand is the user. So Anand knows only English language. Anand knows only English English language. Hardware knows only binary language. So how we can interact? How we can interact with this hardware? Hardware means hardware having the guys. What is the configuration? RAM. So RAM is something like 128 GB. 128 GB. CPU, something like 20 CPU. Something like HDD, hard disk. Hard disk is 3 TB. For example, so this is the configuration of this hardware. Hardware. How we can interact with this RAM, CPU, and hardware. How we can interact with this hardware and how we can copy the data to the hardware. So Dell PowerEdge R710 is the hardware. So hardware knows only binary language, user knows only English language. So user cannot directly connecting with that hardware cannot connect with the user because of so they don't know binary, they don't know high English language. Who knows? OS knows both the languages. So Linux, CentOS or a Red Hat OS knows both the both the languages. Both the languages. So whatever you are giving in the input, so they took that input and the Red Hat OS translate this and giving as a 10001. For example, how we can get this value, how it will convert the OS. So there will be a solution called ASCII. Does anyone knows what is ASCII? Guys, does anyone knows what is ASCII?
ASCII means it converts the letters to ones, zeros, ones like that.
Yes, 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 yes. Very good. Does anyone knows, guys? iPhone, home, M. Johnson, Ulino, Patrick. Just whatever you know, you guys can tell me. So it is not mandatory to give the exact answer. Whatever you know, you tell me, guys. So our intention is only for to communicate with the people.
I think it is converting letters into the numbers.
Okay, good. Guys, anyone? So ASCII is nothing but an American Standard Code, American Standard Code for information interchange. Information interchange. This is one of the organization. Is one of the organization. So they provided the decimal values to the keyboard numbers. Whatever the keys in the keyboard, they created some some decimal value. For example, capital A equal to so 94. For example, this is not accurate value. So capital B equal to 95, capital C equal to capital C equal to 96, and so on. Z equal to something. Okay. So they are providing the names, alphabets to the decimals. So small a equal to, for example, 64. Small a equal to 64. Small b equal to 65. Small c equal to 67, and so on. And so on. Z equal to small z equal to something. So they created the names. So you are giving a because of only English language, right? So in the keyboard you pressed as a, but hardware knows only binary language. Hardware knows only zeros and ones. How it converts? OS converts from a high level language to binary language. How it will convert? Something like LCM, can take the LCM. So what is the number? For example, 94, so small a, right? 64. The number is 64. So how we can multiply? You can multiply with the 64. So what is the number, guys? So 32, 2 just 64. What is the remainder, guys? So remainder
0,
equal to 0. So again, you
2,
can multiply with 2. So
16,
2,
0,
yes, 16, 0.
0,
Remainder equal to 0. The same way
8, 0, 4, 0, 2,
2,
0.
yes, 8, 0, 2, 4, 0. So 2 are 8, remainder equal to 0. 2 2 are equal to
2,
4,
0.
remainder equal to 0. 2 1 are equal to 2, remainder equal to 0. So you are taking the value from bottom to top. So what is the value, guys?
1,
1,
0,
0 0 0 0 0. 6 zeros, I think. 1 2 3 4 5 6 zeros. So what is the value of a small a, guys? 1, 0000060. Yeah. So who converts? OS converts from A to binary, high level language to a binary language. So that's the reason we need to install the OS on the hardware. Either it will be a laptop, either it will be a desktop, or it will be a server. So any hardware, so we need to install the OS. So if you want to interact with that hardware, definitely we need to install the OS. Definitely we need to install the OS. That's the reason we are installing the Red Hat or CentOS OS on the Dell PowerEdge server, because of we need to interact with this. How we can interact with the server? So how we can, so while installing the OS on the server, then only we can interact with the server. Otherwise, we cannot, because of hardware doesn't know the English language and user doesn't know the binary language. That's the reason we need to install the OS on this on the on the hardware on the hardware. Yeah. So this is the hardware. In this hardware, in this server, so we are installing the OS. Which OS, guys? Tell me. CentOS 7. So now I am installing the CentOS 7. It will be easy to understand 8 and 6. That's the reason I am taking a 7. Or Red Hat 7 OS. So Red Hat 7 OS or CentOS 7 OS. So then we can interact with the server. So we can interact with this server. So so once we install the OS, so we are able to communicate this server. We are able to communicate this server. So then, so in this server, so we install the, we install the web server, and for example, code is in the Java. So where we need to keep our code in the web server. So whatever developers developing this code, whatever developers develop the code, it will deploy. What is the developers develop that code? Which code that is? A WhatsApp code. So this code will be deployed on the which server? In the web server. So in the web server, how we can interact with the server? Through CentOS or Red Hat only. So that's the reason definitely we need to learn the Linux OS. Learn the Linux. Linux is a CLI. So how we can interact with this Red Hat? Through the CLI mode. Only command line interface. Only command line interface. Guys, now you understood?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
Guys,
yes.
guys understood or not?
Yes, yes.
Understood.
Understood, right? Yeah. So this is the hardware server. So so this server is so in our laptop, how many people are accessing at a time? But in this server, so we deployed the code. We deployed the which code? WhatsApp code. WhatsApp. How many people are using? Lack of people are using the WhatsApp, right? Lots of people are using. So everyone, if you are connecting to this server, definitely there will be a connection established. There will be a connection established, and it will affect the RAM and CPU. It will affect the RAM and CPU because of, for example, in our mobile. So in our mobile having a something like 16 GB of RAM and that 64 GB of hard disk hard disk. So so if you are installing 5 apps on your mobile, so it will be sufficient to run the applications. For example, it is sufficient for the 8 GB or 16 GB. So if you are installing other application on the your mobile, definitely it will be hung, right? It will be hang. So because of the resources, whatever the resources having in the server, the capacity is over. capacity is over. So that's the reason. For example, in India, something like results, 10th results, inter results, whatever the results. So that time the server will be not accepting the connections because of the huge people hitting at a time. The huge people are hitting at a time on the server. That's the reason the server is in hung state, and the so we will not get the results. We will not get the application. You cannot see behind. Guys, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
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 Yeah. Who is that guy? Behind?
Sorry. Pardon?
Behind the one. Are you able to see my screen or not?
Cannot see the screen on my
Able to see
monitor.
Are you able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So directly we are unable to interacting with this hardware. Directly we are unable to interacting with this hardware. So that's the reason we need a OS to interact with the servers. We need a OS to interact with these servers. So something like a Dell PowerEdge. What are the servers, guys? I already told you, right? IBM X Blade servers. Yeah, so this is the server, guys. So this is the hardware. How we can interact with this hardware? Definitely, we need to install the OS. Any of the OS, either Windows OS or a Linux OS or Unix OS. So we can how we can interact with this server? We can interact with this server through OS only. We can interact with this server through OS only because of hardware knows only binary language. Binary means zeros and ones. So user knows only high level language. User directly cannot interact with the hardware cannot directly interact with the user. So definitely we need a mediator who knows both the languages. So OS Red Hat CentOS is the mediator to interact with the hardware, to interact with the hardware. This is the IBM Blade servers. So this is the IBM Blade servers. So why these servers are having a more configurations? Because of so when we deploy any application, either Facebook or something like Orkut or WhatsApp, whatever it may be, the huge people are interacting with this server. So whenever you are hitting, I will give you example, guys. Guys, for example, this is the server. So this is the server. In this server, you installed the CentOS 7 and you deployed a web application, web server. And the web server is something like a Tomcat. In the Tomcat, you deployed a application called Facebook.archer. So this is the Facebook application. So this is the a Facebook application. Yeah, guys, this is the web server. This is the web browser, Google Chrome browse web browser. For example, Google Chrome or Safari or Mozilla Firefox or whatever it may be. So Google Chrome. So whenever you are hitting a Facebook.com, it searches in the internet or the internet. it searches. It comes to the internet. Whatever the search you are asking, it comes to the internet and it find out where it is exactly. So here. So, so it was deployed on this server. So again it comes the reply to the facebook.com, a main page or an index page. So if you log into this username and password or sign up, so it will it will go to this server. Your username is password. Then it will open another page called something like your profile page. Another page called it is a profile page. Something like whenever you are hitting anything, definitely it will go to the web server. So and it will reply from the web server to the web browser through the which protocol, guys? HTTPS. HTTPS or HTTP. HTTPS or HTTP means hypertext transfer protocol.
Protocol.
So hypertext transfer protocol means hypertext. What is plain text? What is hypertext? So guys, this is the normal text. This is the normal text in our Word document, whatever you are opening in our local. So this is the plain text. Whatever you are seeing in the a browser. So this is a hypertext. What is this, guys? So this is a hypertext. So hypertext transfer protocol. Whatever the hypertext is there, it will transfer from server to browser, web server to web browser. So this is the protocol, guys. HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. What is S? S is nothing but a secure. Secure. It will be secure. Whenever we transfer the data, it will be highly secure. Secure means encrypt and decrypt. It will be encrypt and decrypt over the web. Over the web. Guys, understood? Now you got the point, right?
Yes, yes.
So where we need to install the OSs on the a physical server or a web server. For example, I bought this server. And so I have a knowledge on the development also. I developed the code for the Facebook and I deployed it in the server. So this is I kept this in my home. I kept this in my home, right? So it will be there is no power. There is no power goes down. There is no power failure. There is no power internet failure. So 1 week it will be huge. Something like every day 10,000 people is sign up and accessing the site. So after 1 week, 7 into 10,000, 70,000 people are accessing. 70,000 people are accessing this website. This is a huge response. So after 7 days, after 7 days, after 7 days, after 7 days, every 1 hour, every 1 hour, so power goes down, power goes down. So that time site cannot be reached because of server is in the down state. Site cannot be reached. So the people are irritating or hesitating. So while connecting to the Facebook, so every 1 hour it will goes down and it will goes up. After that it will come up. So it take around something like a 3 or 4 minutes. And every 2 hours, the internet will be goes down. Internet will goes down. Internet will goes down. That time the site cannot be reached. Site cannot be reached because of. So if the internet goes down, so we are searching from the internet. There is no internet in this server. So again, it will be not reaching the server through the internet. So again, it will be irritating the people, and they're going out, something like they sign up, their accounts removed from the Facebook. So I need a solution. I need a solution. I want a power. I don't want to goes down to the power, and I don't want to go to the internet. So what is the solution? We need a solution, guys. Does anyone know? Guys?
Increasing the capacity of hardware, like
No, no, no. So the issue is something like, so every time power goes down and internet will goes down. There is impact with the internet and the power. So in my home I have only one power backup and only one internet backup. I have only one internet backup.
question is, pardon,
So
question.
question is, I want to keep the server somewhere. They are providing they are providing uptime 99.9% durability and high availability. I'm searching for that solution. Does anyone provide that solution?
So the solution you're talking about is how to power the server
Yes.
when
I
the power
want a
is down.
power backup, something like a UPSS, whatever it may be. I want a multiple power backups and I want a multiple internet backups. Who will provide that solution?
Hmm.
Means third party is interested, right? Yes, sir.
Sorry?
The third parties organizations, they will provide, right? So
Yeah. What are the organizations? Does anyone knows, guys? Data centers.
okay, yeah.
Does anyone
Yeah.
knows, guys? Data centers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So data centers provides a solution called, so they are providing a rental space to keep our servers. They are providing a rental space to keep our servers, and they are providing a 99.99% uptime and 99.99% high availability and 99.99% is durability. They are providing the reliability, high availability and uptime. So why they are providing? They are providing the multiple power backups. Multiple power backups and multiple internet multiple internet backups. What is backups mean? So something like if power goes down, it will automatically switch to UPS. If UPS also goes down, it automatically switch to generators. If this generator is also goes down, it automatically switch to the another generator. If another generator is also goes down, it automatically switch to the another generation. So they are providing the 99.9% uptime. So if internet goes down, for example, in India, so BSNL, Airtel, Jio, it automatically switch to the another network. If some networks is goes down, it automatically switch to the another networks. So our side will not goes down. Our side will not goes down because of they are providing the multiple types of multiple power backups and multiple internet backups. So I want to keep my server in the data center. I want to keep my servers in the data center. I want to keep my servers in the data center. Data center. For example, so the data center. This is the a data center. So in India, something like, for example, Control S. So Control S data center. So yeah. So this is the data center. How data centers come? Uh, how data centers are build up. The data centers will build up with the racks. Data centers, so will build up this same the like. So the data centers will build the same like as a racks. So if you want a space, they will provide the space and you can keep our servers into this space. So what they are providing? They are providing the internet backup and they are providing the power backup. So the site cannot be, the site will not goes down because of they are providing the internet backup and power backup. So if you are keeping your servers into this data centers, what they are providing the racks. In the racks, you need to keep your servers into the tracks. Okay, guys, understood? What
Yes,
they
sir.
are providing? They are providing a rental space. They are providing a rental space for to keep our servers. To keep our servers. So these are the data center racks. Yeah. So these are the racks, guys. So this is the way data center quality. So our servers, Dell, PowerAge. So these are the servers, right? You able to see, right, guys? Yeah. This is the server. So this is the racks. They are giving these racks. So if you want, you can keep our servers into the data center because of they are providing the high availability, uptime, durability, reliability, everything they are providing. So that's the reason we are keeping our servers into the data centers. Guys, now you understood why we are not keeping our servers into our home because of the internet and power backups. There is a failure between the power and internet. That's the reason our servers will be keep it in the data centers. Keep it in the data centers. So this is the production. This is the production server. So what is a production? What is non-production? Guys, what is production? What is non-production? Non-production or non-prod? The simply call it as non-prod environment. So non-production environment or non-prod environment. A production environment or a live service. So what is production? What is non-production? So production having the impact, business
Impact.
impact. So because of if server goes down, something like this is our server. So if server goes down, the site cannot be reached, right? The site cannot be reached. So that is the reason. So if something goes wrong in the production server, definitely there will be a business impact because of something like the revenue definitely will impact. Revenue will impact. So definitely we need to careful for the production environment because of whatever you are searching in the browser. So this is the production environment. So non-production environment. So non-production environment having non-production environment having a development environment, QA environment means testing EME, something like UAT, user acceptance test, or SAT or staging, or pre-prod. So these all are the non-production environment. So if something goes wrong on this server, something like, for example, this is the development server. So whatever the developers are using, so developers are developing that code where there will be there will be testing on their environment. So there will be a separate environment for the developers. They are testing in the development environment. If something goes wrong, this product development environment. So is there any business impact? No business impact. So there is no business impact. No business impact. So because of only 3 people are using this server, this environment, and that people are only for within the company only. So within the company only. If this server goes wrong, how many people are impacting? Only these 3 people are impacting. So this is the facebook.com. Facebook.com. So this server production server is, so whatever we are seeing, the people, end user, whatever the end user are seeing. So these are the end user. So end users are accessing this server. If this server is goes down, definitely there will be a business impact and revenue. So revenue will be impacting. That's the reason this server will up and running every time, up and running every time. So this is the production, this is the non-production. What are the non-production environments? So QA environments also. So who developed the application? Developers develop the application. Once develop the application, they test it and the development environment looks good. Then they are deploying in the QA environment. Once QA deployed in the QA environment, QA people, testing people will test this application. For example, so once you provided the information, email address and password, then you are trying to log in. So but this button is not working. This button is not working in the real time. So when you are hitting in this button, so it will not work. It will not. It won't work. So who is the responsible person? Testers, QA team, quality analysis team will test each and every option in the application. Each and every option in the application. Forgot to log in, username, password, create account, everything will test. If something goes wrong on the, if something like this button is not work for the, so in the testing environment, again, so they will, so again, testers will inform to the development team, something like this feature is not working. Can you look into it? There is a bug. There is a bug, and there is a bug, and they will inform this button is not working. Again, developers working on that one, and again they will test it in the development environment. So if success, then they will move it to the development QA environment. So once QA passed, so we will deploy it on the, so UAT or SAT or pre-prod. So pre-prod is nothing but a prod-like setup. What is that? Prod-like setup. So it's success in the pre-prod environment. Definitely, it will be success in the production environment. So again, they are testing in the QA team will test it in the pre-prod environment. So pre-prod environment, it looks good. It looks good. So then we will try to deploy it in the production environment. So then we will try it in the deployment in the production environment. Once they deploy, again QA people will test it in the production environment also. Once we deploy the application in the production environment, QA people will test it in the production environment also. If they passed, it will go. If not passed, we will roll back the changes to the previous version. So we will roll back changes to the previous version. So what is the environment? For example, so we have two physical servers. How we can interact with these two servers? Guys, how we can interact with these two servers? By using OS. What is that OS? CentOS. So we install the CentOS 7 OS on the server and CentOS 7 on the server. So one is for the application app deployment. One is for the application app, whatever the developer developed the code. So another one is the DB server. DB server is nothing but a database server. So whatever we are signing up or whatever you are uploading any information in the website. So this is just application. Developers only develop the application only, UI only. So who store the data? A developer team have a database developer team have. They create the tables. So while in the table, whatever you are uploading, whatever you are doing, so it will be stored in the database. So where the data stored will be stored, the application data will be stored in the database server. Whatever you are uploading, whatever you are commenting, whatever you are writing. So application only creates the API, application, only application. So whenever the data, if you are providing the information, email and password, it will verify it on the database server. So yeah, username password looks good. Then it will comes to the a profile page, your profile page. So there will be two servers in the per environment. So for example, this is the development environment. Again, this is the QA environment. This is the pre-prod environment. So this is the production environment. Every environment having the two servers. Every environment having two servers. One is app server, one is DB server. One is app server, one is a DB server. Who will manage these servers? Who will manage these servers? Operations engineer. Operations engineer. Which OS is installed on this machine? Guys, which OS? CentOS. CentOS means Linux. So Linux engineer or Linux administrator. Linux administrator. So manage these servers, Linux servers. For example, if it is a Windows server, Windows administrator will manage the Windows servers. Windows administrator will manage the Windows servers. Linux administrator will manage the Linux servers. Guys, now you understood? So where we will deploy our application, we will deploy our application in the
So
server. In the server. For example, this is the development environment. So this is the development environment. Who will have the access? Developer team will have the access to the servers. So just access. Who will manage the server? A Linux administrator manage the server. Because of why developer is not managing the server. Only developer knows the code. Developer only knows the language or code, but they don't know the how to operate the Linux servers. Who knows the Linux servers? So Linux engineer or Linux administrator knows the Linux OS. So who maintain the server? Linux administrator. So developer only
Linux
develop that
administrator.
code. Yeah. So line developer only develop that code. After developing the code, so they will give it to the Linux administrator. Linux administrator will deploy it on the servers. Linux administrator will deploy it on the server. After that, it will accessible over the web browser. So it will be accessible over the Google Chrome or internet. It will go over the internet. Once we deployed it, so we can get it from the server. Whatever you are searching from the browser, so it will get from the server. Guys, now you understand?
Yes.
Yes, right? Guys.
So I have a question, please.
Yep.
So the operational engineers and the Linux administrators are in the
Both are
same.
same. Both are same.
Okay, so which the developers are the people that manage development environment at the same time with the CentOS 7. So what is different between the QA environment test, that is environment testers, and the
Yeah, every environment.
environment?
Yeah. So Linux administrator having all the access, production access, development access, production access and non-production access. Developer, some point of time they will get the access from the development environment. So non-production environment. So who knows the Linux? Only Linux engineers knows the Linux OS. So if you give the access to the developers doesn't know the access. For example, developers give the access to the production servers, production Linux servers. If doesn't know the Linux OS. So somehow they deleted the code. Somehow they deleted the code. So what is the impact? Definitely there will be an impact. That's the reason we are not providing any access to the production engineers, only having access to the Linux engineers. Because of Linux engineers know the Linux OS, how to operate the Linux OS. Understood?
Yeah.
Yep, right? So this is the environment. Every environment having the setup. For example, I will give you a real-time example. Guys, I'm very poor at the drawings. This, for example, this is the car. So this is in the showroom, something like a market having the cars. This is the car, guys. So before coming to the market, what will be done from the car's perspective? So there will be a So there will be a development environment, right? So development environment, in this environment, they are designed and developed the car. Once development environment is done, then before before handing over it to the showrooms, before handing over it to the customers, definitely we need to test this, right? We need to test how many kilometers, so mileage is coming. So mileage, how many kilometers are giving per liter. So all the features, something like they are testing the steering is working fine or not. The tires are working fine. The seats, everything will be there will be testing under the testing phase. So first development, then testing, then a market. So they released as a market. Finally, it will reaches to the end user. So if it reaches to the end user, this is the production environment. So this is the production environment. So after production environment, there is no impact. So while testing, while development time, yeah, definitely there will be a down or something like testing time. Also, they found the bugs. Once they overcome all the features, all the test cases, if looks good, then it will release. Then it will release in the market, something like in the production. The same like a website also. The same like whatever the website. First, it will be tested in the development environment, develop in the development environment, test it in the testing environment, then in the production environment. So these two environments call it as a non-production environment. So this is a production environment. So this is a live and business impact. Here there is no business impact. Here there is no business impact. The same way, the same way, the same way in the software development also. The same way in the software development also. Guys understood?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for production, guys will tell you tomorrow. So there will be another huge concept. I will show you. I will tell you at tomorrow. Okay. Guys understood, right? So where we install our Linux CentOS OS. So we will install the CentOS OS on the hardware or whatever it may be, either server, something like physical server, Dell PowerEdge or IBM Blade servers or HP ProLine servers or so the servers. So we will install on the OS. The OS will be installed on the physical servers. Physical servers. Guys understood, right? So what is non-production? Unproduction. So development, QA, EVAT, SAT, and pre-prod. These all are the non-production environments. Non-production environments, there is no impact, business impact. There is no revenue generation in that environment, right? So there is no impact. If wherever the revenue generation, wherever the revenue generation, if that site is impact, definitely there will be business impact. But because of the revenue will be goes down if you down the server. Understood? So that's the reason production servers to be very careful and it will be alive 24/7, right? It will be live 24/7. Understood, guys? Non-production, production, production. So tomorrow I will tell you what is the physical server and what is the virtualization. Okay. So developer having only 3 or 4 people, QA team only for 3 or 4 people. So why they need a big server? Why they need a big server? So is there any possibility? Is there any impact? Is there is something like a big innovation thought came and they developed a virtualization from physical to virtualization. So guys, we'll show you. We'll show you tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks Hari for the first.
Okay.
Guys, so I'm having some feedback like Diamond Johnson